All right, I'm gonna drag Biegeltoren in then.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Hello there, Biegeltoren. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing all right.
Good. I see you won your war against Earlium. Suppose it wasn't too difficult for you.
No, it was a bit of a walk in the park.
Yeah.
We sort of collapsed a bunch of other Sun Elven nations on top of them, so not much they could do.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much a shoe-in for the Phoenix Empire at this
I'd say either Sariand or Bursartanch's point, and you are on opposite teams, so could see some warfare there potentially.
Yeah. We'll have to see how things go. Right now, we sort of have a deal that we'll help each other consolidate the region, and neither of us will form the empire.
Okay. Somebody might.
As long as that deal holds, of course.
So in Anbennar, what do you and what have you done? I know it's a lot, so this might be a list.
I'm not gonna name everything, but it's a few things. Yeah, I worked on a few of the Sun Elven mission trees, such as Varamhar and Sariand and the Phoenix Empire mission tree.
Nice.
I did the Jadari mission tree. I know you are a big fan of Jadari fans, so
look, they're just very zealous, and I get very overwhelmed by their zealotry.
well, you have me to thank for that. I did the command mission tree.
Oh, very nice.
Oh.
I've heard very good things about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about the command a little bit.
Definitely recommend playing it. I think it turned out very well.
Yeah.
Right then.
And I did the Elephant Lord's mission tree. So everybody that's broken in multiplayer, destroying everybody with their elephant cav, that's also my fault.
Okay. The tree has been picked.
We're literally just talking to Forfindle about the elephant.
I mean, I believe it's been on the list for rebalancing for a while, but I don't they haven't gotten to it yet.
First question.
Yeah.
What state of mind were you in when you decided that a mission that required you to have 100 cav combat ability was a good idea?
Well, here's the thing. Cav always sucks, so the only way to make Cav not suck is by making it overpowered, right? There are only two ways about this. Either it sucks or it's overpowered.
I think you're actually right. You're right. It's true. You never use cavalry until they're overpowered, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
with
that's...
Danica or Centaur, so you...
Yeah, you've got a point. That the middle ground of cavalry being okay means that they don't get used at all.
Yeah.
I hate that.
So basically,
you're right.
all the cav-oriented nations in the mod are all just really overpowered versions of cav nations.
Yeah.
I'd say
you get the centaurs, you get Jadari, which obscenely strong cavalry early on. I think Adenica has really strong cav.
Really good strong cav, yeah.
I don't know about Fern with the Wyvern Riders, or Marhold with Griffins.
I think they're just okay. They're good enough to like sprinkle into your troops, but you don't like full-blown cav arms like you do.
Yeah.
Cavalry is the same, and I would say also the Goat Dwarves. In their cavalry's good, but it's not good enough to be entirely goat armed.
Unless you have centaur military.
Exactly, yeah.
Fair enough.
And
the reason I'm part of the art team is that I did, I think, like 2/3 of the loading screens for Anbennar.
They're really good.
Nice.
Yeah, but new ones are gorgeous.
Yeah. I was the one of the floating city. Was that one yours?
No,
that one was not one of mine. That one was one of that one was commissioned by the Chinese Anbennar community.
Aha, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, it does seem like
independent
a bit of a different style to the rest.
Yeah.
I was
It's
wondering
really
if you
good.
were
They
trying
did a
out new
fantastic
things.
job.
Or what is your favorite art piece that you've done then for Anbennar?
Oof, favorite.
Because I have one, and it's not one of the loading screens.
That I did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what loading screens we've done. One of my favorites is actually the two dwarven ones might be my favorite ones.
Ah, the one of the Heroes Gate.
Yeah, the Heroes Gate and the Underground. I don't remember if there was a specific hold.
Right, yeah, Children of Ruin one. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really cool. I like I say, I'm a stickler for art. I always like using them for obviously for thumbnails and such.
Thumbnails.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do like my art, and but I'd say my favorite piece of art that I've seen from you is it's either Jad's daughter or his wife, the harpy.
It's his daughter.
It's his daughter. That art piece is just amazing. And yeah, I'm a Jad hater, but I love his daughter.
Turned out pretty well. I
Yeah.
get it is in the mod technically. It was originally just done as an independent piece, and then at some point we turned it into some mission tree icons.
Aha. Maybe I'll
Did
be
you
able to
do any
find it
work
here.
on the advisor portraits? Because I was always incredibly impressed by the dwarven advisors. Look
Actually, no, I
stunning.
didn't. There was a bunch of other amazing artists that had worked on those. I think, including Mike. I don't quite remember who did the dwarves.
Dwarves,
There
I
is
think,
on
are
Harpy
particularly
Diplomacy.
good. I think the who else has got particularly good ones? Gnomes have got really lovely ones too. I really like the gnome.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Kobolds also pretty cool. And I love the touch of the kobolds. The advisors change scale color.
Yeah.
It's just a small little thing, but
It's
it's
very
cool.
important.
Yes. So yeah, I have you here as your role being as senior contributor, but that is a little bit like deceptive. You do
Well-
like so many different things.
I think most of the senior contributors have worked on a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been region lead for a while. Yeah, I think everybody who's been around for a while has bounced around between different things. I guess not everybody's been artist, but people have worked on different things, done systems, mission trees, added regions.
Yeah.
Various things.
Have you done any work for the new Sarhal area?
No, I haven't actually. I've not been in Sarhal at all.
Okay.
I've always been focused on Bulwar and then Rahan and a bit of Hellas.
Well, Bulwar for me is my favorite region in the mod. I'm very happy with how that area turned out. So I
Mhm.
guess thank you for that one.
You're welcome. And of
What?
course, all the other wonderful people working on the Bulwar team. We had a streak of some very amazing people working on that specific Bulwar focused update that brought a lot of things like the incidents and stuff.
Were
that
you
was,
involved in the incident?
I was vaguely involved. I sort of oversaw the project, but I wasn't directly involved in the creation of the incidents themselves.
It is some of my favorite content. Like, and with the Phoenix Empire as well. You said you did that mission tree.
Yeah.
It is like I say, my favorite area to play Phoenix Empire is just it's entirely my jam. So, with that said, though, with the Phoenix Empire, a lot of the missions do give quite a lot of like, permanent claims and own all of a region. But I suppose
You can say it. I think the Phoenix Empire of the region, and out of the three main formables of the region, the Phoenix Empire mission tree is one of the weaker ones.
Right.
And I have ideas of reworking some of the mission trees, some of the missions from the Phoenix Empire. I cannot promise when or if that exactly will come to pass, but it's something I would like to do at some point.
Right.
I'm not going to change too much of the conquest missions because I think those are in an interesting spot. The main thing is I want to change some of the conversion missions and maybe some of the missions where you go into Sarhal,
Right.
and make those more internal focused, or some missions that might change depending on who you form the empire as.
Because I will say for the conquest missions, at least they have the kind of timed aspect thing for them as well, which I guess not a lot of very conquesty focused nations that I've seen at least have. Conquest all of this area within a certain time limit to get an extra bonus. So at least it has that, I will say. Do you have anything specific in mind to make the region a bit less blobby? We've got a question from chat about that.
You mean do you think they mean the early part of Bulwar gameplay or the later part where you've united the region and then just expand?
Let's go with both. I don't know.
I think it's tricky to make a region non-blobby. The reason some places are non-blobby, such as Kanor or Rahen, is simply because you've got really high aggressive expansion when you conquer in those regions.
Right.
Part of the nature of what makes Bulwar blobby is that mission trees give claims, and I think the main countries that you play have ambitions of uniting the region. That's just what they are like.
Yeah.
Combined with lower development means that you can pretty quickly expand and unite the region. So early gameplay, I don't see that changing very much.
Okay.
As for when you've united the region, I think Surakesh is always the country that is the non-blobby variant. It's the human form that just stays in the region. Phoenix Empire and Jadari both have that legacy of Jaher, so you sort of get the flavor of if you're gonna blob, then it would not feel true to the nation.
Right. That's a fair point.
Yeah. I would like there to be at some point, I don't see myself making this, but this is something that I think should be the case, there to be a mission tree for a Jad Empire that's not formed by Jadari. Right now, the Jad Empire mission tree, you only get if you form Jad Empire as Jadari, and anybody else doesn't get a mission tree.
Right, okay.
And I think there should be an alternative mission tree for the Jad Empire if you form it as, say, Rayuel or I don't know what other nations can flip Jad.
I guess any of them.
Eliana or so, for example.
Or like sort of necrocracy, where you sort of worship the fallen Jad.
Well, like it's not necessarily the worshipping of Jadar, more like worshipping. It's worshipping Surael in the traditions that the Jadar established, right?
Yeah.
Jadar is often sort of said, he's the prophet of Surael. I don't know how. I wouldn't compare Jadar necessarily to Jesus or Muhammad, as people are wont to do. It's more like he is a prophet, but he's not one to be worshipped. He's just the first guy to promote these ideas.
Right.
Yeah. Not wanting to be worshipped and being worshipped. They're two different things, though, right?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, the only one worthy of worship in Bulwar, though, is my gal Celadora Bursartanjuir.
I think you'll find that it's pronounced Celadora.
I think I don't care.
I think yeah. The tradition of any fantasy is mispronouncing literally everything that's in.
Oh my god!
Look, I even made it so that the sub mod that I use for multiplayer changed the spelling back to a C. I will die on this hill. I will die on the hill of Sadkus.
The change of C to K was as an effort to sort of change Bulwari elves, like Sun elves, from Moon elves, because they used to use exactly the same name list. And so we're like, we need to set them apart a little bit so that if we remove all C's, set them to K's, and then stick with a specific sort of naming and language scheme that keeps the regions a bit more different.
So that was your fault?
Well, not just my fault,
but you are the one I can blame. Okay, I just putting a.
I had some opinions on the matter.
I think this is setting out a tradition where we have to blame at least one dev for something
Yeah,
in every interview we do.
exactly. Yes.
Who did you blame last time?
Thorfindor is entirely responsible for removing angels.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Even though
yeah.
he wasn't, but he didn't tell us who. Still need to find out who
Yeah,
we blame
yeah.
for that.
Pretty suspicious.
I don't think the person who is most responsible is playing at the moment.
Yeah, it's a good job, really. Because if he
Yeah.
was, oof,
Oh,
a piece of our
there'd be
minds.
so many blames going on him.
Another
There-
question from chat for you.
Yeah.
Bulwar is practically the only region that mixes different types of administration and military. Is there any other plans for countries like this?
Well, I can think of one country which should have the things mixed, but I'm not sure if it actually does. It's one of the Yanjin countries in Yanshen,
Okay.
which should have Harimari military and human administration. But I don't know if it actually does.
Would Azkaray, do they have elven administration?
Ooh,
They
that's a good
might be
question.
another. They're dead now, so we can't even tell.
I don't think they start out with Elven administration, but they might change to it at some point.
There could also be maybe does Corentar have that? I know they have a whole deal with half orcs.
Oh, actually, maybe Does Grombar do something?
Well, they have state mandated orc waifus, so I would assume so. But yeah,
might be.
it definitely Bulwar seems to be like the central hub for having those be mixed.
Yeah.
Corentar doesn't. Rosenmore doesn't.
Well, I think, of course, many different countries can change their military.
Yeah.
I don't know that many of them actually do, and for even fewer that, well, aside from Bulwar, that start out with mixed military and admin.
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of any person.
Bavaria maybe as well, but they're also dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you could make a case for some Mirage nations that they should,
Yeah.
but
Would be nice to see more of that, for sure.
it would be cool. I agree. I mean, a lot of countries, like in Canor, a lot of countries are just homogeneously human or homogeneously orc or elf or whatever.
Looks like New Wanderers is getting the chat upon.
Oh yeah, they're. I said they had no friends in their region, so they're.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're having issues.
I can't actually see what's going on there.
Corentor and Smallfellows are the two most powerful nations by quite a margin. Yes.
New Wanderers is losing to Corentar, Smallfellows, Corvaria, Ibavar, and Adshaw. And all they've got as friends is Silverforge and Moonhaven.
I mean,
and
Cavalry's not even lifting a finger.
Yeah, they don't need to.
They don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corentar alone would be enough to win that war.
So, I guess it's all going to Smallfellows.
Yeah.
Which
What
should be
is
interesting,
your?
because-
Sorry, go keep on.
Yeah, because only one can really unite Escan. Corentar, Smallfellows.
Wars of consolidation haven't happened yet.
Yeah, but
From what I hear, Corentar is in the best situation for that. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
By far.
That might change, because let's have a look. Corentar is on 278 Dev. Smallfellows on 193. So if Smallfellows takes New Wanderers, Smallfellows is actually increased. And Smallfellows got a powerful army because of the new mercenary items. So
that's true. I mean, Corentar is on the same team as Corvaria and Tungar, so
Right.
that could form a strong block.
yeah, definitely.
I don't know what team Smallfellows is on.
A dead one. Wait, no, they're
The
different.
dead team.
Yeah, no, they're on. Smallfellows is on team. They're on. Man, they're on your team.
Are they? Small fellows.
No, wait, no, they're not. You're. I thought you were on team right. No, you're on team artists. Yeah, no. Small fellows is on team writers. So they've got Adshaw and Ibavar and Bian Fang with them.
I think they're supposed to have been announced, but there's team alliances.
Yeah.
And-
They are in the announcements. So kind of hard to keep track of all the alliances at this point, to be honest.
Yeah,
If it's
writers
not a
is
map mode.
allied with artists, so with us.
Well, there you go then.
So Small Fellows and Corentar are in different teams, but allied teams.
Yeah. So it seems that's going to be... I still think Corentar's going to break that and just... I don't know. I can't get away from the idea that, you know, teams are all well and good, but people are going to go against that at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
So Sayadan is not on your team, are they?
No.
What are your plans with them?
Well, eventually, I need to bring the remaining Jadari desert elves back into the fold.
Of course.
So I think we're gonna clash there. There's also the really annoying situation where I would very much like to proclaim a protection of all the people along the Upper Suran, but for some reason Shadow Dreamer thought it was a good idea to subjugate Askasur when they destroyed Segdir.
Haha, so you might have to fight some orcs as well.
Some orcs and some harpies.
Always good
Just-
to see.
Average day in the life of a Sun Elf.
Through that. Have any other
We
questions?
were talking. So you're still involved with the arts quite a lot?
I mean, I don't very much do a lot of small pieces for the mod. I occasionally do like a monument art or something like that.
We were talking before. It was like such a big discussion in the games industry in general about AI's impact on doing small little 2D art thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, has there been a discussion in the team about how to utilize it, or if it can be utilized? Where it
We
can be
use
utilized?
AI for low impact things
Yeah,
generally. Like
That's-
we wouldn't ever use AI for a loading screen.
Yeah.
We've been using AI a little bit for things like monument art
yeah.
or icons occasionally.
Okay.
That's pretty much how most game companies are doing it too. Actually, yeah, small
Yeah.
little low impact things. So yeah, that's good.
Something that can't be pointed out by the community is, this is clearly AI, and therefore I will hate you for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also just like some things take a lot of time to do and don't have too much impact. So
Yeah.
and we only have so many artists to
like
put on different jobs.
Castle number 258 is doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't- yeah.
It's
you can
like
just
sometimes
provide
for
the
mission tree
explanation.
icons we use some.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has a good result. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like as far as people like.
We try to use it as little as possible, but occasionally it can be useful.
Some elements are like, if it's something that would be scrutinized very closely or is large on your screen, like obviously a loading screen, definitely I wouldn't like to see it there.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting, right? Because the results are often very good, but people will avoid doing it backlash more than the results. You know what I mean? So it's an
Yeah.
interesting thing.
I mean,
think
the
it-
results can be very nice, but they can also be kind of dead, especially
Yes.
for character art done with AI. You can pretty quickly tell that it's AI
yeah,
because AI very often has a specific style.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel sad for the original artist behind that style, whose
Yeah.
original
Who's
style is now seen as that shitty AI style.
Well, that's
Well,
the
like the
because
thing is, it's not a bad style. It's just a very specific. It's a specific look
yeah,
yeah.
that AI art has.
It's because it's an amalgamation of loads of different things, so it becomes
Yeah.
generic. So there's a game that I've been playing a lot called Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Very good little city builder, and they've clearly used AI to do all their character traits, and it's so obvious that it's AI. can be a
Yeah.
little bit jarring.
Yeah.
So I think the trick is to use it and then, go onto Photoshop and do a little bit of zhuzhing up, give it a bit of flavor and a bit of panache over the top of the baseline art. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I mean, I think a lot of people who post AI art do some of that as well.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. You
I'm
never get rid
now
of it
scanning
completely.
different monuments and
No,
like,
you're
is
right.
this AI? Do we think the Esu Vrem Great Project is AI art?
But like
a
one of
rabbit
the
hole.
things that like mods often struggle with is getting all these little tiny little details in, right? Like monument art, for example, right? No one's really passionate about going around and filling in for monuments art
Yeah.
style. So I know I think it can be quite a boon. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I'm not a particularly big fan of monuments as a mechanic. I don't think it should have been added to E4. I don't think it should have been added to Imperator either.
I'm inclined to agree.
I think the way monuments work in Vicky, where they're just buildings that do a thing, is kind of okay.
Vicky 2, of course, we're talking. On.
We'll not get into opinions on Vicky 3.
Lambert's a huge fan.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of sharing my opinion. I mean, depends on what you're calling a monument in Vicky 3, like, because there's the unique ones like the White House, but there's also like unique modifiers on various states. Niagara Falls, for example. But I think like that kind of thing could work in Anbennar.
Yeah.
I don't see Imperator monuments working in Anbennar though.
We've sort of settled, at least it depends on what region you look at. I think every region handles monuments a little bit differently. But I think in Hellas we sort of settled on monuments primarily being modifiers on the area or the region.
Yeah, Thor was just talking about that, which I think is a better thing to do.
I think that's how it should always have been done, honestly. It feels weird to have a building that gives a global modifier. I mean, we of course have done that before through missions, but
it's the problem that vanilla has, right? You sort of, Thor mentioned sort of collect them all.
I think that's my main issue with them, the Pokemon attitude people have towards monuments.
I agree.
I definitely think keeping military buffs out of monuments is like a huge thing, though, is what is most needed. I can very much tolerate a lot of global modifiers as long as they don't give global impacts on like your economy or your military.
I think there's a few things I quite like about global. There's a few global modifiers. For example, the North Citadel has a global modifier to governing capacity modifier, and that I'm okay with because it's like
that works.
Yeah, right. It's
like if it's an administrative building, makes sense.
Yeah. I think that
Versailles Tensions should have something like that. Not that they need anything for their governing capacity. That's their whole bag's deal, but a little bit extra. Why not?
Estate loyalty too. Pretty good. I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But then only if you can have like one of them. Like I think monuments that are like administrative buildings make sense if they are buildings that only work if it's your capital province.
That's right.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah,
for sure.
Extra merchant too is pretty okay. I'm fine with.
Yeah. You could have like a bizarre building that's.
Yeah.
I think from what I remember of vanilla Anbennar's monuments, because I often run with like monument adding mods on top, but for like just Anbennar base, I feel like the strongest monument was always the one in Bulwar, that gives manpower recovery. I think that's one of the only like military style monuments in the mod, which is certainly appreciated, because a lot of the monument adding mods I have to rebalance to remove a lot of military things.
I tell you
Yeah.
what, like replacing a lot of province modifiers, permanent province modifiers, with monument, is pretty good because they're essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be that monuments only had art and no description. Now they have descriptions as well, which makes them so much better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For example, like in Casanov, where you build like all the forge, for example, in the market.
Yeah.
Those could be theoretically monuments instead of province.
Yeah.
That's right. But then, do you get problems with people who don't own that monument DLC? Because you do. To the
Yeah,
monument DLC
basically,
thing,
what you'd have to do is you'd have to make a version of each monument, or if the most important monument would have to have a version that is functional for people who don't have the DLC.
Yeah, it has to be a province modifier if you don't have a DLC, and if you have a DLC.
Yeah.
Especially if you have that monument like engaged in the mission tree.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't always say, oh, we have to make an alternative version for if you don't have the DLC, because some things you just can't do. Like if you want to play an Ascan, you better have the DLC that gives you migration, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was, yeah.
Like we can't make an entire system that's independent for if you don't have the DLC. It's just you better have the DLC, otherwise it just doesn't work for you.
Yeah. Play somewhere else.
Is migration a DLC thing? Because I just thought Serpent Spine would be horrific. Like, what would you do? If you can't migrate.
You would do fuck all. You would
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
I don't know if it works. Like, if you play in vanilla in America,
Yeah.
and you don't have the migration DLC, do you sit there? But does the AI then also sit there, or does the AI migrate around while you don't?
I have no idea, actually.
You just you can sit and dev and devastate your own province
Not
and
if you
then
don't
give
have
up
a dev
and play
DLC.
somewhere else.
If you don't have... oh, no, they changed that now. It's free now, isn't it? It used to be the case where you couldn't dev unless you had a DLC.
I honestly don't remember.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that came in with common sense.
That's it, yeah. which
Because it
became
was common sense.
I am still not a big fan of the development system, so
Same. Nobody understands what development actually means, including the devs.
of EU4.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that whatever happens in EU5 will get an Imperator style.
I
thing.
think it's incredibly unlikely that we'll see another development system.
Yeah.
Because even comments that we've seen from Johan, who we're all assuming is going to be leading EU5, say things like, he's never going to make a mana system again, and how do you have a development system if you don't have a mana system? And also, he's very in favor of population systems.
I think Imperator has a good system.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of Imperator.
Imperator has a good system now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
On release, it wasn't for sure.
I mean, still the way Imperator does pops is a little weird. Because basically, because it's divided by legal status of a Roman citizen, it's like, what does that mean in a country that does not have the same way of citizenship and nobility? And it's a little, it's very based on the way that Rome handles citizenship, and it doesn't necessarily work.
I think
it's not a very accurate representation of what it's supposed to represent, and that's
right,
part of the confusion. It would be much more simple if you just did a lower class, middle class, upper class.
Exactly, like in
thing.
MEIU and taxes, right?
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
I will say as well, though, one of the things Johan has said recently was that he prefers the Victoria 2 population system to the one that he has in modern Imperator. So we could see a very interesting EU5 if all things come together in the right way.
You know, I cannot see Vicky 2's system working well in the context of 4 mine, because I guess the Victorian period is very different.
I mean, I don't know how it works in Vicky.
every class of population is just listed in your population tab. They have their own like lots of pie charts, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of pie charts.
Lots of pie charts. I don't like pie charts. I don't know why I'm in favor of this so much.
Yeah, it's an interesting system, but if it works in a Victorian context where like the average person has a lot more power than
Yeah.
in before where frankly the ruling class did everything. And everyone else was slightly sidelined in most countries. I mean, like, can you imagine like a pop system in Tudor England? Doesn't really make much sense. 'Cause...
Yes, because I've played my own taxes.
yeah, but like in reality, it's like a mercantile in upper classes, and the peasants are there to farm. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Whereas in Vicky, like the peasants are there to have a revolution. So they play.
Well, like the
MAU and taxes, I think, is a good.
Yeah, I think that Mayo and Texas still has to work within the development system, but what they have is a system whereby buildings cost like ungodly amounts of money, and the development is a calculation between how many pops of various types and the infrastructure in the province. It's like a calculation between those gives you your development, which I think is like the best version I've seen. But hopefully EU5 won't take everything from the newest version of Mayo Texas, because it kind of got a little bloated.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of MAU and taxes with imperative flavor.
Yeah.
The main thing I want for whatever comes next is a game that actually accurately simulates the difficulty of maintaining territories far away from yourself.
Oh yeah. Which, funnily enough, Mayo and Texas has.
That's what brought this thought up in my head just now.
Definitely a lot of inspiration should be taken here, I think.
Do you know what I don't want? 3D portraits.
You know what you're gonna get regardless of what you want?
Yeah, I know.
3D portraits.
Go for portraits. It's
I'll say for us, 3D portraits are also not a good thing, because they just mean way more workload.
Yeah. Modern workload is definitely a lot higher.
Yeah.
With that.
I am really looking forward to like Anbennar's Vicky 3 mod, but it's it must be pretty hard to work within the framework of Vicky 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the reason that it's not out yet is just, I mean, art is one thing. Luckily, if we figure out all the art stuff for different races, then you can do a lot of porting between different versions.
Yeah.
Like Crusader Kings and Vicky, but...
Question
for
you. Have you figured out how to implement the day-night cycle into Vicky 3 Anbennar? And does the sun rise in the east or the west in Anbennar?
Well, it's a fantasy
I mean, we've not looked at
setting,
it yet, but I think it just I think it rises in the east.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's
I think it's the same as Earth.
Well,
I hope so, definitely, because a lot of the writing for the Jadari Empire mission tree localization is based on that idea.
Well, in Vicky 3, as in just the game, the sun rises in the west, so maybe it's time for Anbennar to make a choice.
Why does it rise in the west?
I don't know the answer to that question.
It was some sort of technical thing. I don't quite understand it either.
I don't know.
But it's a fantasy setting. It works. Just retcon it. So
well, the original release of Vicky 3 had a compass like drawn on the map, where east and west had been switched. So it could be. I'm not going to say it's down to that, but I mean, who knows?
Canon. Real world canon.
Oh my god, yeah, but you know, I will try the Anbennar Victoria 3 mod.
Well, hopefully, like by the time it's out, Vicky will be in a much healthier position. Fingers crossed.
I don't. I doubt it.
I mean, it can't be in a worse
I
position.
think Lambert has
so-
some issues with Vicky 3 in a way more fundamental level than can be fixed by patches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly, yeah.
Oh yeah. Asgari is called the Sunrise Empire, so the sun must rise in the east.
Speaking of which, I have only just noticed the table of Anbennar. It's actually got Anbennar and stuff in it. Where was that? That's such a nice little touch.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
where's-
I don't remember
where's
when that
my
happened,
room?
but yeah.
Where's my room and people shuffling papers and opening
I see
doors every 12 seconds?
I quite like that, to be fair.
No.
I think it could be quieter, but it's a nice touch. I know, that's cool. A little Anbennar thing at the top. That's nice. It's really nice. When was that added?
I have no idea. It's been a long time. I think it's been there for.
The war
or two.
is over,
It's
and
just a,
yeah, New Wanderers have lost a few provinces to small fellows.
not as much as I would have thought,
Oh,
all things considered. I suppose they had a lot of allies, so the war score couldn't get to 100%.
yeah. I mean, they were fully occupied, and it was like 11%.
Yeah.
So I think it was alright. And Riveria has returned to the map.
Oh, we've got our first little bits of colonies.
Wait a minute.
Not player colonies, but
How did Portnam lose? It's hard.
oh, interesting. Was it a rebellion? About AFK? What's going on?
I don't
What
know.
happened there? That was very weird, isn't it?
But yeah, that everyone supporting Portnam, yeah, didn't work out.
No.
Can I draw you guys' attention to something very obnoxious?
Of course.
Sure.
Harpyland. Can you look at their ruler?
Let's have a quick little gander.
They're now called Ayarlarin.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ayaralan. Look at their ruler and look at their military.
The ruler is Piranyan Harpy, and their military is. Oh no! Oh no!
Interesting.
Oh no! Okay, so we have a new example of administration and military not syncing up. Oh, I love it. Wait, I don't think I've ever seen the AI go Undead Army.
No, it's very rare, isn't it? That's interesting.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, they start with a powerful mage ruler, so that might have been part of it. I remember from when PDX played Anbennar, they had to fight a Laurent, which had a Witch King.
Oh, nice.
Man, PDX should do more dev clashes, and they should play at Anbennar
Yeah.
now. It's been because it's a long time since they did it, and there's so many updates.
Look,
I
I'll,
think it's-
I'll straight up cast for them. I don't care. They don't even need to pay me.
They should do it in. We should do like a Grandest Land for Anbennar.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Where would you host it?
I mean, it'd have to be in Barcelona at the moment, right? Because
Well, normally they do it in like a Polish castle, don't they?
Oh, having an
Normally,
entirely
yeah.
new thing. I think they should do it in Western Finland.
Yeah, well, Western Finland's not real, therefore it's a fantasy realm, and therefore it's fine.
No.
In Sweden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ay.
Ah, yes, Western Finland, aka Eastern Sweden.
So, with
I'm
your
thinking, what's the
dealings
most
with
fancy location that you could do?
most fancy location, I don't
The
know.
fantasy
Oh,
location.
fantasy.
Brazil.
What?
Brazil isn't real.
It's not real, is it? A country like that can't exist.
Probably.
Do it at some theme park. Do it at Disneyland.
Brazil land.
I could go to like Visby in Gotland. That's still got like, the site of the earliest European battle or something there.
The thing is, the reason why it's in Poland is because Polish castles are cheap to rent.
That's a fair
so
point.
we-
Yeah.
Somewhere in Central Eastern Europe where there's a lot of castles and they're cheap.
I mean, France shouldn't be too difficult either.
Yeah, is it?
Just
That's-
most French castles that you can rent probably don't have internet.
Oh yeah, true.
Plus, no one be able to communicate with you because the French don't like speaking English. from what I have heard.
Slovakia's pretty nice, and also that's not real. So, well,
Look, the political commentary coming out of FatherLorris today is kind of wild.
no country is real. That's my politics.
Countries don't exist.
Yeah, it's just
Clearly, obviously, we all need to go
big country
to.
is fooling you all.
Obviously, we all need to go to New Zealand and have it in Hobbiton
Oh yes.
on Paradox's dime, because ain't no way I'm paying for a flight to New
No,
Zealand.
exactly. Yeah. all 4 of the Australian Paradox funds, and New Zealand's gonna be really happy about the low cost of travel.
So, question for you: as Sariand, you've got that deal with Bursar Tenches. Which one of you is going to have to deal with the army of the dead?
I think we both are, because I just got an estate mission to conquer a province from the harpies.
Uh-huh. Good luck.
We're gonna do it together, or both die. Actually, no. We did it before. We'll do it again.
Well, at the moment, the AI
most build-up
hasn't
experience.
built up. Well, I probably shouldn't tell you this. They haven't built up their army to their new force limits potential. So there is time.
Also, because they switched away from harpy military, their roofs turned off, so they're much easier to siege now.
For sure.
And they've still got they're still monsters, right? So their province is still cheap as dirt.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be too bad.
That's 100% defensiveness from their roost.
If they're
and
able,
now it's
which they are not.
Now it's down to nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
50% from mountains.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah, I think that's very good.
Right. So yeah, thank you very much for coming to chat with us. Really appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Is there anything you want to announce or let the people watching know before we let you get back to your country?
I mean, I hope I have some support from the chat in my menace from the east. I don't want everybody just boo Sayadin and Shadow Dreamer when the inevitable conflict happens.
For sure. But yeah, good luck with the game and for your future stuff in Anbennar.
Yeah, we'll
Thank you
definitely
very
talk
much.
to you in the future.
Yep.
See how it updates.
See you guys.
When you inevitably betray them and form a Phoenix Empire.
One of you is
We'll
gonna
see.
do it.
Yeah, it has to. There's a betrayal coming.
For sure.
Post.
All right. See you
I
later,
won't say
mate.
anything.
Like this.
See you.